Alright, about a month ago I came across this video of Michelle Obama, and it was titled Her Tearful Cry for Gun Control or whatever. A lot of you may have seen it. And I seen a comment from a person by the name of Devine. And basically what he was saying was he believed in the Second Amendment and that there should be no restrictions on any of us, but that criminals and felons should have background checks. Which, whatever, he can have an opinion if he wants. I simply stated that background checks are not needed, they are unconstitutional, and I said no gun should be registered, and it's not the government's business. That was 1 month ago. About a day ago, I was checking my Gmail, and he had made a response from yesterday. So yesterday he responded, and it said, I forgot how to tag the guy above, but are you a fucking retard? And he went on to say that that means criminals and felons should be allowed to get guns whenever they want. If you don't want a background check, then don't do anything illegal. Well, in my opinion, this makes no sense. What is he implying? I don't understand what he's saying. If I don't want a background check, don't do anything illegal. If I go to buy a fucking handgun, I have to go through a fucking background check. And I've never done anything illegal, but I still have to go through a background check. So I don't know where the fuck he's going with that. But anyway, he called me a fucking retard. And when I wrote back, I didn't call him any names. I just simply said, no, I'm not a fucking retard. I believe in the original intent of the Constitution and the Second Amendment. It is too bad you don't. And I said, I feel sorry for you. Because he somehow feels that he believes in the Second Amendment. But there's a but there, you know what I mean? I believe in it, but this or that. I've heard people say that before. And they can say whatever. It's supposed to be a free country. I mean, we know it's not, but he can do whatever and have his opinion. That's fine. Can't force it on me or anybody else, though. Then he responded again on the same day, and he went on to say, I believe in the Second Amendment. I agree that Americans should be allowed to own any assault rifle or machine gun or pistol or any gun of their choosing. And he said, I also believe that there shouldn't be any control of what kinds of magazines, ammo, or guns should be sold. But I differ from you because I believe that not just any random person should be allowed to get a gun. They should have a background check to make sure that this gun or this guy doesn't have a history of violent tendencies and isn't mentally unstable. That is the answer to gun control. Just making sure that it is harder for ex-cons and felons to obtain weapons, while law-abiding citizens should have no problem getting a weapon of their choice. Do you still disagree? Well, first of all, a felon or a convict, if they want a gun, they're going to get it no matter what. You should know this. That's common sense. Drugs have been illegal forever. Well, I don't know how. I couldn't say forever, but they probably have been. Point is, people are still getting them. People get out of prison who are ex-cons, and they end up back in prison. So background checks do nothing. A felon doesn't give a shit about the fucking law. That's why he's a felon. I'm not saying that some people who are felons are not reformed, but if he wants to do bad and wants to get a gun, he's going to get a fucking gun. The only people that walk into the gun store to get a background check are law-abiding citizens who are forced to get one and have their privacy invaded. Bottom line there. And like I said, he said, do you still disagree? And then he wrote again, by the way, I shoot guns and actively participate in sporting events of the kind, so don't try to tell me anything about how I don't know what I'm talking about. I never mentioned the word I don't know what you're talking about. What I said was, you don't believe in the Second Amendment. And I'm not wrong, because what does the Second Amendment say? It says, a well-regulated militia, being necessary for the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. And I just wrote back saying, if you believe in background checks, then you do not believe in the Second Amendment. It's pretty simple. And he goes on again, I believe that citizens of the United States must be armed to defend themselves against tyranny of the world. But why do you think that I don't believe in the Second Amendment? Once again, the communication level has broken down. I said, I believe you don't believe in the Second Amendment because the Second Amendment does not say the right of the people to keep and bear arms who have a background check shall not be infringed. So what does he say next? This was the last thing he said about 6 hours ago. He says, quit ignoring the question. Are you saying that any felon who has a bloodlust should be legally allowed to buy a gun? I didn't ignore the question. Felons can get guns no matter what. And I'm going to send this video to him. Because I'm telling you right now, Mr. Nick Devine, a felon will find a way to get a gun no matter what. So why do you want to have to go through a background check to buy one? Is it that shit where, well, if I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to worry about? That's not the fucking point. That analogy can be used for any of our rights. Well, like your fucking right to search and seizure. Well, why can't I be searched if I have nothing to worry about, right? No, that's not how it's supposed to work. The point is not whether you have something to hide or not. The point is due process of law. I mean, we can keep this conversation going for the next fucking 3 months. The bottom line is, I'm not ignoring the question. The question you asked was, do I think a felon should get a gun? Well, I never said I wanted felons to get guns. What I said was, the full intent of the Second Amendment is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So by having to go through a background check, our rights are being infringed, including yours, Mr. Nick Devine. So you want to keep this going? Fine, we'll keep it going. Just wanted to make a comment on this to everybody. And, well, I'll put a link to the video that I'm referring to that I commented on in the description box of this one. And I'm going to send this to him. Apparently he's not understanding me or whatever. He thinks I'm dodging a question. I never dodged the question. I give you an answer. My answer is, for the final time, I believe in the full intent of the Second Amendment. And by going through a background check, it's a violation of my Second Amendment rights. A registration of my handgun or my rifle is a violation of my Second Amendment rights. A CPL license, which I have to carry a gun concealed, is a violation of my Second Amendment rights. Do you agree with that, Mr. Nick Devine? I welcome your response. I challenge you to make a video responding if you would like, and I will share it with everybody else. I'm not going to sit here and call you names. You can call me whatever you want, whatever. The bottom line is, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. And my rights are not debatable. Unfortunately, my rights are gone. It's a privilege now. Do you not get that, Mr. Nick Devine? Our rights have become a privilege with registration, background checks, and license to carry are all restrictions on your Second Amendment right. So I don't agree with the fact that I have to have a background check and be infringed upon because a felon might go to a gun store and try to buy a gun. There's my answer.